Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. Sorry. Did not realize it was the last ad until it stopped playing.
Good job, JP.
JP,
Yes.
I don't know if you know that you have one job.
I have one job, and it is to play the commercials, make sure when y'all know it's the last ad and before I introduce the show.
And you
Right.
forgot.
And you forgot.
Well, I forgot about, the commercial,
Yeah.
Wolfman Jack distracted me.
Was you dancing?
No.
What were
He's
you
probably
doing?
listening.
I was on Spotify.
Oh my God. Just
I'm having...
JP, thanks for helping out.
You're welcome.
Good luck in your future endeavors. We got NASCAR up right now.
NASCAR. Okay.
JP, read us this weekend's radio schedule for the NASCAR.
Okay, let's see. What is this week? This week is 26 and 27?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Here we go. Okay. We have Duke of Virginia at 3 p.m. today, and we also have Alsco 300. I'm guessing, is it Alsco? That's what it says.
Yeah.
Okay, I just make sure. At 300 at 7 p.m. today. Tomorrow we have the Carolina Panthers at the LA Chargers at 3, and we have the South Point 400 at 6.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
So NASCAR tomorrow evening
Yes.
from Las Vegas. Terry?
Vegas, baby.
Yes.
There you go.
Kyle Busch.
Viva Las Vegas.
So you got Kyle Busch winning this weekend?
Yes.
Terry? You do?
Yes.
Why is that?
He's pretty good at Las Vegas.
What about Kurt Busch?
Well, he's decent out there also.
Yeah.
There's a few of them. Kevin Harvick decent anywhere he goes.
Cheater. What? I didn't
So
Yeah, but
this-
that was a race this past weekend. Speaking of races, I think when I go back in history of racing, I think that Kyle Busch in the back of his head was thinking, I can go up here and I can knock Kevin Harvick out of the way and win this race, or I could tap him and next thing you know, something will happen to me and we both wreck and I don't make the next round. And I think his crew chief kept telling him, think of the long haul. Finish second, you're good, you move on, you don't have to do it. Let's don't do a Jimmy Johnson Roval deal like he did with Martin Truex, and do not make the next round that you cannot move on.
That's a good deduction, Terry.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, he stayed second. He didn't battle him. He didn't touch him. He just stayed in second place and finished the race. And, hey, you could tell after the race that's not what he wanted, because there's a few chances that he had, that a couple chances he took runs at him. And he could have easily got up there and kind of tapped the rear end of that car and moved him over a little, maybe a couple times. But, hey, I give him all the credit in the world for understanding what he was doing, understand what he had to do, to move on. So give Kyle Busch credit. I do think, though, that Las Vegas is a track that he can win.
Well, Harvick's in first, Hamlin second, Keselowski, Logano, Chase Elliott, Truex, Bowman, Dillon, Almirola. Kyle Busch is in 10th. Bowyer 11th, Kurt Busch 12th, as Custer, Byron, and Blaney and DiBenedetto have been ousted from the playoffs. So the bottom four, this is the first race of 3. And Terry, with the schedule coming up, this is the only regular race as far as what the crew chiefs consider regular race, an oval, kind of all you get type of race. I would call this a crew chief race, and maybe some people will too. But we'll see what happens. Next week we got Talladega.
Yeah.
And so you don't know what's going to happen there.
This is the race you want to win.
And then
you don't have to worry about it.
And then the third week, we'll have the Bank of America Roval 400. I guess we still don't know if fans will be allowed there by our Lord and Governor.
I mean, all I know is, I think he said outside venues can have at least 7% capacity. Well, you obviously haven't been around these parts because everybody's at about 50 or 60. But I'm glad you finally put a little notice and said, yeah, we can actually have 7%. So, but maybe he did that because
too many decisions
sports
are based on elections.
I'll just say, but maybe he did make that statement because of sports, because the race is coming to town. He realizes more and more people in the state are probably wanting to go to at least Panthers games and some of these universities games. So 7% of outdoor venues, okay.
Well, you can't
but what is that really for 50,000, 60,000
hold 100.
seats.
You can't go to a UNC Charlotte game because they've canceled again. They just can't
Doesn't
get on the
surprise me.
field. They can't
Well,
get on the field.
Yeah, that's just going to be tough for everybody right now. But
And then
for the race wise, I mean, hopefully that does mean people can go out to the race because
I mean, they're still so big. I mean, you can get away from each other in those stadia. I mean, what did they say? They're going to let 7,000? Is that what
they
it was?
just said 7%.
How many
Or
Bristol
outdoor
had?
venues can
How
have
many Bristol
7%
had?
capacity.
I don't know what their rules are in Tennessee.
Bristol had a lot of people.
If I'm not mistaken, they had 30,000.
Tennessee is
Yeah, okay. I was
considerably
going to
more.
say, I knew
I
it
think
was
they
over
had
10.
30,000 people there.
Tennessee's more lax than North Carolina.
So it says the capacity, according to the interweb, anywhere from basically 100 to 170,000, depending on configuration.
Right.
So 7% of that is 7,000. If you go up to 170, a little bit more. So we're looking maybe 10,000 fans, depending on the math, give or take.
And I
a
think
couple
there's
thousand.
a lot of social distances among 10,000 fans.
At a place
Yeah,
that
at a
big.
place
Yeah.
that big, yes.
I mean,
yes.
You're allowed
Yeah.
to sit with your family, but you just
Yeah.
have to distance from everybody else.
Well, so hopefully, I want to see fans get back. You know, this is the home of NASCAR. Jimmy Johnson's last year. He's going to IndyCar basically next year for 12, 14 races. So it's going to be.
It just would be
it'd
a
be-
shame, you know.
yeah.
You missed one race and they took the All-Star race
and the
from you.
playoffs.
And the playoffs. So you only get this one last race you're running in Charlotte to go and see it. If you were a NASCAR fan, you basically got gypped here in the state of North Carolina.
Hall of Fame,
Unless you drove down to Darlington.
which
or
a ton
to
of people
Bristol.
did. I know people that
Martinsville.
Yeah.
I know some people here that I wouldn't even consider that big of NASCAR fans, but because of the availability of the tickets and not being in Charlotte, they've went to almost 5 or 6 races here in the South to states that have allowed them, and they live right here in Lincoln County. So, you know, some people are doing it. Now, they don't have a big RV, so they're just driving and going to the
Why not?
races and enjoying.
Well, you know
where
what
they're
would be a lot better if there's only 7,000 fans, the traffic's not going to be nearly as bad.
That's true too.
So
Parking
you can
is great.
Yeah,
Terry. You get a
parking's
good
not
spot.
bad. You know, all the little aggravations you don't have to deal with. But
You know, it would also be a good chance in if they allow it. I don't know what the rules are. Is Terry getting infield tickets or so? I don't know. They may not allow that with not. No, I'm talking about fans. I'm talking about the RV infield tickets where you can people with RVs. This would be a good chance to, if they allow it, to park in the infield. You know they'll probably make you social distance your RVs, but you don't have to talk to them anyway. You can sit on top of it or whatever. But a few years back, they took out a whole section over there in turn, basically between 1 and 2, and they've got places where RVs can pull up face forward up against the track in turns 1 and 2, and you can or back into it if you've got a back window, I guess, and watch the race. So there's a bunch of different ways, I guess, to be able to watch it. Terry, did you hear the news about Bristol this week? Possibilities?
No, you tell me.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna ruin your day probably.
Oh,
then.
Lordy.
The rumors, the talk is that for next spring's Bristol race, covering Bristol in dirt.
you mean a dirt track race
Yes.
with NASCAR?
Yes.
That's the craziest thing I've ever
That
heard of in
is
my life.
so
That ain't
dumb.
gonna
I'm
work.
for it.
160. They're talking about 100. That's the thing.
I'm for it.
That's the talk.
I'm
right
all
now.
about doing
man.
something wacky, something
My
different.
God,
There's a
no,
difference between
be
wacky and
NASCAR.
stupid.
Yeah,
That's
be
just
NASCAR.
stupid. That's stupid.
Well, that's
mean,
why to me, I always said, well,
I mean,
if you
we're
really,
not
if you
back
wanna
in the
see,
1940s and 50s.
But
Well-
see, but if you look there, Terry, what I would say is if you look at the cars back in the era of the 40s and 50s or whatever, they were a lot higher off the ground.
That's what I'm
Do you-
saying.
I mean, do you not think that would affect on a dirt track those cars being so low to the ground?
Well, you have crew chiefs, Tom, so tell them to do their job.
Oh,
You know,
come
tell Anna
on.
this is the part where the crew chiefs.
Come on.
I got to unscrew, loosen them shocks up a little bit, raise those. They might have to take the splitters off the car because they're.
I'm
so
just
low.
telling you, those cars aren't designed to go on a dirt track.
that's
so
where
here-
the engineers come into play. In the 2
But you're
weeks
going to have
prior,
to
they
do all that
designed it.
engineering for one race.
Right.
So
You realize how much money that would cost the teams?
No, it'd be for the whole weekend.
It's going to cost the teams so
Oh, you're talking
much
about the
money.
engineering for the world.
Oh.
All right, here's a report. NASCAR, Speedway, Motorsports, and other industry stakeholders are discussing the possibility of running a dirt track race at Bristol. Though there are talks are in the early stages, Bristol did this in 2000, 2001 for World of Outlaws races.
Yeah,
at the
outlaw
track.
races.
Yeah, something like that. That's fine.
Yeah, come on.
So that's the
No, those things are just souped up golf carts. What are you talking about?
yeah. So no race dirt at Bristol for you, Terry.
No, that's dumb. I don't need that. That's not even.
Let's say if it wasn't at Bristol and they put it somewhere else.
I mean,
Would you want a dirt track race?
I don't want a dirt track race anywhere.
Okay. Well, Terry, there's a lot
Dang,
of
Terry, what did dirt do to you?
I know, Terry,
come
there's a ton of people.
We're in 2020.
There's a ton of people who like the dirt.
Okay, let
better
them go
than-
watch
than-
Outlaws.
than the pavement.
God, yeah, I know a lot of people that go around here to the dirt tracks up in Lincoln County and
Yeah,
over in
I mean, I have
Mooresville.
no
They go
trouble.
there all the time.
Yeah, no,
all the
that's
time,
not a
especially over in Mooresville.
Yeah, there you go. I have no trouble
Yeah,
with
but
none of that.
that's the local. That's the local guys. I mean, it doesn't make. I mean,
yeah,
I
it's
understand.
never appealed to
You
me.
can't make that part of a race. Why don't we just make that then one of the 10 races to win the championship, racing in the dirt?
Yeah, they should.
I mean,
Then we should see who wins in jet skis. Yeah, race
Yeah.
on water. Then we'll see who the real king of racing is. There you go.
They should schedule a rain race.
I mean, that's
Rain
like,
racing.
That's
You
like
gotta
this
drive
racing
in
that
the
they
rain.
got coming up now. I love this. You got Vegas. This is your little track that somebody needs to win this one. Come on, Kyle Busch. But then you go to Talladega, and then you got to Roval. Anything can happen in those two races. To me, that's when NASCAR becomes. And people say, "Well, you like Talladega." I do. I like races like that. You take somebody who don't even have a chance to be there, and they can win that race. But that's part of that 10 races, and I like it when it's mixed up, but not no dirt. That's totally different. We don't need no dirt races
I think that's
in 2020.
I just think that's ridiculous.
Terry's calling for the
They didn't have them
shutdown
back
of
in the
dirt
day.
tracks.
The NASCAR's always
No,
been.
I'm not. No, I'm not calling against all the dirt
Whoa.
tracks. That's a whole different race.
2013 Eldora Speedway in Ohio welcomed the NASCAR Truck Series for a dirt race.
That's great.
Okay.
I think it would
Just
be
let-
interesting.
And here it is. What if it rains? And then how long do you have to sit
Lord.
there? How long do you have to sit there
Here's-
before you get back on the track?
here's-
No, you don't. You put them little wipers on you, and you just keep racing.
That's
Mud
correct.
racing. There
Here's
you go.
some comments from drivers. That
It's probably all negative.
no, some of them are negative, some of them aren't, but they're more of in the camp of they would rather it be at a different place other than Bristol. I'm not going to read all these. Let me just.
I'm trying to.
for
Cause you
Reno.
think? I mean, what
They're
would
like,
be bad about it is think about you got to bring in dirt and just cover the track
Well,
in dirt.
That's
They don't
not
care.
the
There's plenty
issue.
of that in
The
Tennessee.
issue's with the cars more than is that they can cover the track in dirt. That's not.
I think it's a
that's the
waste of
track's
good dirt.
problem. Yeah, it's a waste of good dirt, right?
It's a waste of good dirt.
But anyway, certainly the fastest place I've been to, and I love to see it filled up. There's a lot of things that will come into play with this track. It's so wide, and there's so much room to race. As big as it is, drafting is going to come into play, and I can't wait for this one. Talking about the Outlaws race at Bristol, one of the Outlaws drivers, then some NASCAR drivers. Cool, but I would rather see NASCAR venture into other dirt tracks across the region. Bristol is fine the way it is. I like dirt, of course, but not at the expense of taking out a good short track is what he was saying. Bad to the bone short track is what he called it. And Bristol's perfect the way it is. Put these asphalt cup cars on dirt, it would look silly. Is David Reagan's
Well,
take on
Throw
it.
some mud
Here's
tires
my
on 'em.
deal with this. When you go do this, if you're not up at the top competing, then I'm going to get an outlaw driver to drive my car.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what? He's going to be at the front. He's going to have me a shot at winning, about like when we had the road courses and they used to go get Boris Said and all of them to come drive.
Hey,
That's what
Would
happens
this be one
here.
of the races Jimmy did though? Because he's got experience on dirt. This be one of the ones. Hey, I'm gonna come do this one. So I know a lot of these guys can't do it, and I'm gonna be one of the ones that can.
Well,
I'll
that's
be
what
one
I'm
of the
saying.
top
That's
5 or
what you're
10 that
going to
can.
do.
Those cars.
If I'm
are
not competing, I'm going to
just-
get a guy that can
Listen.
drive
Tom,
in the
them,
dirt.
them tracks be so slick.
Tom, give him maybe
Tell
what an inch or two lift on the front, and just then put some mud tires on it. Every boy
need
that's got a
Jesse's tape
nice red
or,
neck will go lose his
I
mind
would
over
like to
watching
see-
this.
I would like to see when we go back when they first brought out them road course, how many times that Boris said. Now he hasn't been in any lately because the drivers have become better. But how long did that take? Was that 10 years? Because Boris said was in a lot of them road course races.
Seemed like Robbie Gordon was pretty good. at
Yeah,
road
you know,
kid
that's what
back
I'm
in the
saying.
day,
And
too.
that's what would happen. You would have guys who are not competing Go and get one of them guys to come and drive their car.
Are you getting scared that they'd have to replace Kyle Busch because he's not winning anymore?
You don't have to worry about Kyle Busch. Is he still racing for the championship? Yes.
Barely.
I think that, I don't think NASCAR.
He's like defending champion? Yes.
But Kevin, you've often corrected me and said no, that NASCAR is more popular than everybody gives it credit for. So why do you need to do a publicity stunt when your sport's on the rise here lately? See what I mean? That would be like baseball's experimenting with its playoffs and all that because they feel that that the attention to it is waning, but we don't really have that problem in NASCAR now.
So each track's supposed to be slightly different. What they did in the early 2000 stuff, they built a lot of these cookie cutter tracks that the same companies bought all the tracks. Vegas, Charlotte.
Yeah.
So all these mile and a half. So what they're trying to do or think of the thought is, so they're going to they're thinking about remodeling California to and Texas, both remodeling both
Not
tracks.
Sonoma. Not
No,
Sonoma.
no.
Okay.
The big tracks.
Okay.
They've talked about remodeling both of them to short tracks in some capacity or shorter tracks. So what they're talking and thinking is changing up the tracks. Fans like shorter tracks because they can see the cars better. It's louder. They're all on top of it. There's more bumping and
I
grinding.
mean, would you not agree that's what kind of makes Dover good because it's a mile?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like something like that. Or Darlington's like 1.2 miles. Like go to something more like that instead of mile and a half. But everybody likes Talladega, Terry.
Just throw some dirt
everybody
out there
likes
and watch them
Talladega.
spin.
Everybody likes Talladega and everybody likes Daytona because everybody's in it.
They're just looking for more different. I think they're looking for more different
Variety.
types of things than they are, because they've got probably 10 to 15, maybe even 20 races that are all kind of the same. And those are the ones where every week you can kind of close your eyes and pick those top four and say those guys, those manufacturers, those crew chiefs, those are going to win those.
Checking out now become so good on these mile and a halves,
right?
That it was tough to beat them.
Right. You couldn't beat Hendricks back then in the mile and a half program, and that's where you get into the aerodynamics programs. And that Hendricks was fined $100,000 this week for taking too many wind tunnel hours. And I'm almost to the point they shouldn't even be allowed wind tunnel hours. Do your cars. They give you the specs.
Run what you brung.
Right, run what you done.
Run what you brung. Right.
And so they were fined. Let me get the exact notes on it before we get out of here for our break and we get into baseball and football here, folks. But yeah, they're just trying to do some different things, get different reasons to people to come to the track. I think it's Texas. Part of their deal, they're trying to get the All-Star race there, I think, and then somewhere else it was too. I think two tracks were trying to get the All-Star race, Terry, as opposed to where I don't think it works at Bristol. I think the idea was good, but because 20 cars on that track, it wasn't the same Bristol racing.
I think I can go with the All-Star race being anywhere in NASCAR. It's almost like the baseball. You know what I'm saying? You just transfer it to a different track. I could deal with that. That would be fine with me.
What if Hunter Proposal and Terry, because a lot of these tracks have multiple races anyway, how about instead of designating a week or whatever as the All-Star race, the All-Star race bounces to different weeks to those different tracks. So it don't have to be the same week every year. So you would call the first Bristol race the All-Star race, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of it being May 5th or whatever it is every year, it would actually jump. You could jump it every week. So one year it'd be you could even have it at the Daytona 500 and not count as points, I guess, if you wanted to. Just
I have no trouble with
I would just come down to
like
them having to reformat how exactly the All-Star guy gets in them.
Yeah.
Because if you were to set it up at like where it was early in the season, it'd be like, well, half these guys haven't even won a race yet or even put themselves in contention to get to your quote unquote cutoff for the All-Star race. So that's why I think
what you did last year.
That's why I think All-Star like the certain set date every year works for like the NBA, the MLB, and for NASCAR, because it's like, all right, when we get to this time, one, for some teams, that's going to be a break.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a break right here. We're going to be able to get in the lab, kind of do a little bit of extra work, maybe run some fine tunings, or we just get a break. We're just going to take the time, cool down, and then we'll be back the next week. But for some of those guys, it's like, all right, we are working hard to get to this point. And then when we get to this point, we know, obviously, we're a part of the top 20 racers that were here. Once this race is done, whether you win it or not, you want that $1 million, go out there and get it. If not, we know from here we can judge that we're doing a good job at this point. I just feel like when you have a set date, it works better for all parties. You know, the guys that are going to be there, and then the guys that aren't going to be there can prepare for what they're going to do after. That's what I like about it.
Well,
But if you do it like where it jumps around, I would say it can only happen after a certain amount of weeks or a certain amount in NASCAR, a certain amount of races has already happened. So we have to have at least 5 or 6 races already done. Then we'll start deciding what date we're going to do the All-Star race.
We're going to do predictions.
so so real quick, for Rick Hendricks getting fined $100,000. How many cars is that at his
That's
local
one.
dealership?
Yeah.
Listen, that's one.
It's nothing for him.
All he has to do is sell one of them Corvettes.
We still got. Let's do a couple more minutes real quick before we can do pick real quick. Jordan to NASCAR.
Yes, I
Jordan
read
buys
about
the
that.
13 charter from the. God, I just forgot the group.
Who went-
Germain Group.
Somebody went in with him. didn't they?
Denny
Denny.
Hamlin is
Yeah.
a part owner. So
Okay.
what happens is this is what Jeff Gordon did with Jimmy Johnson. Jeff Gordon's part owner of the 48 car, so he was owner of the 48 while Hendricks was the official owner. So that's
Right.
kind of what they're doing. They haven't announced manufacturer yet. The 13's in a Chevy right now. Denny drives for Toyota. So I don't that they haven't made that exact announcement yet.
Toyota.
The number's the 13.
Don't worry. It's going to be a Toyota.
You think so, Terry?
Yeah, I do.
As an independent car, it's probably easier to switch manufacturers that way, and the fact that it just depends if they want. But Terry, if you're going to a Toyota, you're actually not buying any actual equipment from them other than wrenches and stuff, are you? Because you're not buying the cars because you're not using. I don't know if they use this. Everybody don't use the same chassis. I would imagine, or it's got to be close, but. The outer part and everything. I'm not exactly sure how that would work as far as are they just going to sell the Chevy part? I mean, I'm sure they could easily sell the Chevy parts to Richard Petty or somebody.
I could see Jordan going with the Toyota brand mostly because let's not sit here and say, and I'm not going to question it, but I'm just going to say, hypothetically, I wouldn't necessarily think of Michael Jordan being the X's and O's type of guy for NASCAR. Like I sitting here thinking, he did grow up watching.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like maybe. Where Denny can really come into play is Denny can be the one that's in his ear telling him, all right, this is really what works, and this is what's going to be able to make it go forward.
I think
and
Denny's
Denny,
job,
being a Toyota guy, why would he not kind of say, if you have the opportunity to go this route, this is where you need to go because I have been driving the Toyota for
Terry,
so long.
don't you think Denny's job kind of with Michael is more of a quell expectations kind of bridge?
Could be.
To say, hey, Mike, Terry, how many one-car teams succeed in NASCAR?
Very, very few. Very few.
They'll compete at Talladega and things like that. That's what Bubba Wallace does.
Yep.
The 21 car. A lot of these teams. Truex and them, they did a great job at Furniture Row, but that don't happen much. And
what was he driving? Toyota.
I guess
that's what I'm saying.
So
if you're a one-car team, that's really what it's looking like would be the best thing to run with, especially with Chevrolet still having all their troubles.
If they shouldn't probably be in the Chevys. If Jordan wants to compete, now what's going to be interesting to see if Jordan does better in NASCAR than he did with the Hornets so far. Yeah. but I think Bubba's a decent driver. A lot of these guys are, but if you put them in the top, it's always the question, Terry. When you put them in time, guys, when you put them in the top equipment. Most of those guys can compete, but some of them, different driving is different than other people.
Put a Cole Custer in a different car, and he might be a top 10 every week.
I wouldn't say that, Tom. No,
almost got you to say that.
No, but for real, there
Who's
is a
gonna be
limit.
the
Once you get to
driver?
15th, it's Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace.
Yeah. Once you get to 15th and below, is the equipment. There's equipment big time difference in that. Bubba's the driver.
I'm just ready to see who the main sponsor is going to be because it's either going to be Jordan or Nike.
Well, Geico
One
is
of
the
the
main
two.
sponsor right now. They haven't bailed out on it yet, or they haven't.
Geico
yet.
might be all in on it
Right.
because they realize the opportunity that this
with
is.
the publicity with Jordan and Bubba. So,
Will Bubba be better in a Toyota?
Possibly. He might have been getting screwed from the Chevrolets.
Might have.
Well, nobody's been good in the Chevy Terriers, but
No.
we'll see.
But things change.
I think
from
they
year
just
to
need to be.
year, though.
And I was telling
Things
Andre, I said,
change.
you guys just need to be realistic. You can't win the championship. One, just stop.
Yeah.
Two, you may have a chance to win a race at Talladega,
Yeah.
Daytona type thing, something like that.
Well, in
But
his
anywhere
first
else,
year, if
I
he
don't know.
wins, if Jordan comes in here in his first year, Bubba gets a
Just
couple
wins one.
just wins one and gets a
One.
couple top 10
All right.
finishes, maybe top
Yeah.
15 finishes. That's a great year for you just starting
Yeah.
off.
All right.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
That'll
that's-
be more
it's-
wins than the
that's-
Hornets have all year.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Hunter, I mean, again, you and Danica have as many wins as Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson do this year.
And Danica
True.
Patrick must be kicked in the teeth at least once per show. At least once per show.
Once per show.
Is it not a compliment if I said, Tom, you and Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, and Danica Patrick have won the same number of NASCAR races? I don't see how that's anything
don't know
but
if
a
it's a-
compliment.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an
I think it's a
insult.
Danica crush. I think that's what it is. He's got a little
She's
Danica
free.
crush.
Yeah, I'm about to say she's free.
Don't feel bad. I think
Hey,
we all got a
Danica.
little Danica crush, Kevin. It's nothing to
Are
be
you still
ashamed
doing
of.
those?
The 13 car this year, Ty Dillon in the Chevy finished 28th in points. So, yeah, that's where.
Get out the Chevy. I
Right.
feel like if you're anybody these days, unless you just believe that they can actually
Well.
get something right, Chevrolet is, you're almost avoiding it like the plague.
So Christopher Bell in the 95 finished 21st, and Eric Jones in the 18. But
He
he's
finished
18.
20th.
18's on a 4-man team. The 95 is.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
90,
One man
the
crew.
95's on the 21st place.
18's JGR, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
So if he finished,
he might be
20th,
48 next year.
you'd think he had a great year.
Right, that would put. That's what I
20.
said. I mean, 15 and back. I mean, it's
Well,
tough.
what is Bubba looking at right now, just where he's
Bubba
at?
finished 23rd in the Chevy,
Okay.
and the 13 car finished 28.
And if he went to a Toyota, I'd bump him up to maybe 20.
And let's just say this, because where was he at right now? 23? Bubba, 23rd?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say the Toyota comes over, and this is not exact science, obviously, or math, but let's just say that increases you by five spots. That's top 20 finish. Okay.
Well, then you're competing
Yep.
because the top 16 make
Right.
it, so you're competing.
You'd be competing to get into
Yeah.
the top 16. Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to come back. We've got Major League Baseball playoff picks. We've got NFL picks. We've got NCAA football. We've got nothing but genius forecast, soothsaying. I'm trying to think of another. Tom, you got any other cool vocabulary words for?
I do not. For that soothsayer would have been mine, but
That-
you just
that was- I
stole
stole
it.
soothsayer.
You just the oracle. How about that? An oracle.
I threw
okay.
chicanery at my son.
Oracle.
I threw chicanery at my son yesterday, and he didn't have a clue what I was talking about. So I was like, "Well, you'll figure it out." All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. Is JP in there breathing? Do I see any fingers? Not that one. We'll be back in a minute. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could go look at a new car or truck and you didn't have to worry about getting caught up in those games that waste half your day? Well, Friendship Nissan and Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Forest City is different because we're fast, easy, and transparent. We have over 300 new and used vehicles on the ground with clear choice pricing and the region's only non-commissioned sales force, and a free lifetime warranty on every new car. You better believe Friendship Nissan and Friendship Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram is different, and you can find us in Forest City.
You'll always get treated to big savings at Kurt's Premium Outlet at Eastridge Mall in Gastonia. Come in now and get your Halloween costume for just $2 each. All clothing now 60% off the ticketed price. A Tiburon 3-piece bedroom group is $699. Men's camo nylon bug repellent long sleeve shirts now 60% off and priced at just $2.40. An IFD queen size 4-piece bedroom group is $1,611, including bed, dresser, mirror, and nightstand. And a Harley 3-piece living room group is now $1,749 with glider recliner, reclining sofa, and rocker recliner love seat. And North Face hats, regular $28, but now $14 at Kurt's Premium Outlet at Eastridge Mall, Gastonia, open 7 days a week. Looking for a new car? Maybe a pre-owned car or truck, or maybe an SUV? Then let your fingers do the walking and go to whatsupshopper.com. Local dealers with local vehicles. You don't have to drive all over the country. Just click on whatsupshopper.com and take a look at the local selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and more from local dealers in Gaston, Cleveland, and Lincoln counties. Car shopping just got easier by going to whatsupshopper.com. Pick yours out today.
Take advantage of a special offer on the versatile Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor. Switching attachments is simple, and a smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation. The Kubota BX Series, the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. for over 10 years. You own the land. Now, make it yours. Get the Kubota BX 2380 for payments as low as $99 a month.
Your Kubota dealer is Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive, off Highway 74 at Oak Grove Road, Kings Mountain. When it comes to a coyote, it's time to check out West End Sales in Vail, North and South Carolina's #1 dealer. Head to West End Sales in Vail for your coyote today. Check it out. It's time for you to get ahead of the pack and get a new coyote from West End Sales in Vail. Ask about their 6-year unlimited hour warranty and a free loader with qualifying tractors. That's West End Sales, located at 110 North Highway 18 in Vail. It's time to make your daydreams come true with a visit to Rustic Roots Salon and Spa, now open in Cherryville on the corner at 100 East Main Street. Misty Kalo and Bailey Richardson invite you to come on in. Walk-ins are welcome. The new Rustic Roots Salon and Spa is open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. Rustic Roots Salon and Spa features color, cut, on-site and travel special occasion hair and makeup, plus lash extensions, brow and facial waxing. And to make an appointment, call 704-898-4956 or 980-241-2041. Now open at 100 East Main Street on the corner in downtown Cherryville. Like them on Facebook and Instagram too.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. They're talking some sports and some more sports and some more sports.
That's what I'd like to do.
Terry, don't give me that look either. All right, I understand.
I just
haven't said
heard
a word.
Terry. I just heard some of the most un-American, lazy talk I've ever heard in my life.
Me too.
No.
From these
It's
two-
not
from
laziness.
these two
It's called.
pansies.
Did
it's
you
called
know?
opportunity cost. If I have to drive, I suffer the
Opportunity
opportunity cost of sleeping.
And
So
it's
the opportunity
called
cost of
driving
doing something
across
else.
the country and enjoying life and
Yeah.
liberty.
and it's
freedom.
called
The windows
renewable
down.
energy. Terry, if you use electricity and we were able to harness it through nature,
I
then
believe
we
we've
wouldn't worry
already
about
had-
you know what.
Once we
that's-
figure
that-
out how
that's-
to
wrecks.
harness the sun's energy
That's over.
efficiently, it's over.
Tom
I
can't wait
believe
till
we've
Star Trek
already
happens.
had a few wrecks of people driving without paying attention, and next thing you know, they collide and have
Well,
wrecks
nobody's
that kill people.
sitting. Nobody's sitting there
Tom, are
telling.
you,
If you sit there and want to
familiar
just
with Harry Potter?
No, not
No,
really.
never mind. They have this closet you can walk in and come out of in a closet in a different spot. That would be for you instead of travel.
I would like
That's your spot. That's you.
So,
That's
in other words, if I can go to say Golden Gate Parks,
you just
and yeah,
walk
all
through
I
your
had
door.
to do was
No,
walk through a door.
he's gonna love the future of virtual
would-
reality, isn't he?
I would.
He's
do it.
gonna be sit back with the
If,
goggles
like-
on. We're gonna find
Like,
Tom.
I would love to see coastal New England. I
Okay.
don't want to drive there. You know, if I could just walk through a door and be on the coast
Tom.
of Maine and New Hampshire, I would love it.
Your
That's awesome.
opportunity would
That's
be
so funny.
okay. Let me walk in this door. Let me come out. Back in 1946, when
Yep.
Cleveland was playing for
Also,
the World Series.
also, Terry, do not diss
Yeah, probably.
electric
Yeah, probably.
vehicles.
It's
Electric
actually
vehicles.
1948.
Well,
Terry,
there
get
you
your
go.
years
Tom's
straight.
secretly a
If
big
you're gonna
fan of.
insult me, Terry,
Terry,
get the year straight.
Terry,
It's
do
1948.
not diss electric vehicles. Either 0 to 60 is faster than any gas vehicle or diesel vehicle.
I would-
Inline injection.
I would say this, Hunter. In my vote, I will race anybody 0 to 40.
Well, I don't. Could you get to 60 in that thing?
Yeah, it'll go. It's just at that point with a gas car, their 40 to 60 overcomes my 40 to 60.
Your
0
vote.
to 40, 0 to 40, you can't touch it. I
No,
swear,
yeah.
it just takes off like crazy.
I was speaking more of even a base model Tesla gets from 0 to 60 substantially faster than like a base model Camaro.
I don't know that if that's a fact, but that's Hunter's.
We are back in NASCAR
Hunter's
talking.
Hunter's fake.
Yeah,
news.
can we pick
Look,
the
let's
winner?
pick
It's
the
not
winner.
Can we
fake
pick the
news.
winner?
Yeah, pick
That's
the winner.
not.
Are we
That's
gonna
not
pick-
fake news.
Before we go into baseball,
ahead.
we
Go
got
ahead.
to pick NASCAR.
Go.
Okay, I'm going with Harvick.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, don't pick somebody that can't win. Oh, I got Kyle Busch.
Harvick's just slapping the field.
He
right
is.
Gimme Denny.
I'm gonna go. Kurt Busch does it to save his 18, and that knocks Kyle out of the playoffs when Kurt wins it. So there's my prediction.
No.
Kyle's only in 10th right now. Terry, he's about to lose it.
Oh,
He's got to do good.
then
Now
he
that
goes to
Cole Custer's
Talladega
out.
and Kyle Busch wins down there.
Cole
So there
Custer's
you
been
go.
eliminated. That just ruins my day.
This isn't the third race. This is the first race of the three. Sorry, I'm a little bit wrong on that one. All right. I had one other comment on which I was just talking about a minute ago. Tom wanting to go back to pick 'em got me mixed up there. But we'll go on to baseball, and I'll remember it way later in the show.
I can't help it. Your memory's not very good, Kevin.
Y'all get me off track when I'm thinking about it. I'm sitting there holding a thought, watching three people talk, holding a thought.
We get him off, and he talks about Harry Potter.